Oh, yo, man. Welcome back to another video. We are in 2025 and it is that time of the year, to be to look back at the year of 2024 and look at some of the best moments in combat sports. And today we're going to be talking about the UFC. I have a couple of videos lined up because, this is one of my favorite times of the year because we get to look back at the best moments in the UFC. The best fighters, the best performances, the worst performances, the best chaos of 2024, etc., etc. This is a year for the awards, and this is the awards that I'm going to give out to the fighter that I think deserve it. And we're gonna start off with this. This top 5 is going to be. I'm gonna start off with the top 5 fights that turned out to be bad, in 2024. So this is gonna be the first video of 2025, or the first video of this little mini series, and I'm gonna be going through every category and giving you guys my top 5 because there were some good moments in the UFC. The Sphere. The Sphere event, the massive Sphere event. For me, it was okay, but it wasn't like, in terms of like seeing it on TV, it just didn't give you the same sort of feeling that it would give you if you were live at the Sphere. So for the people that were at the Sphere, was probably one of the greatest events for them. But for the people that were on TV, it wasn't that crazy, to be honest. But it's not bad. They tried something new, which is good. But these fights were some fights that were pretty either hyped up either by the names or just by the styles, and they turned out to be pretty bad, man. All right, I'm gonna give you guys my number 5. All right, I'm gonna go with Ian Garry versus Shavkat, man. Look, this fight was supposed to be a bit more it's just more exciting, man. It was supposed to be a more exciting fight. We have Ian Garry, who is a striker, and we have Shavkat, who had 19, I think it was 19 and 0, 19 KOs or 19 finishes. This guy has finished pretty much everybody that he's faced, Shavkat. So assuming that's somebody that has finished all of his opponents versus somebody who's a striker and who his only way to win is either to KO, to try to put it on Shavkat, or try to just utilize the other skills that he has, which is his wrestling or his grappling. And his grappling, it was pretty boring. It was a boring fight. It's just Ian Garry spent most of his time just trying to defend. Like, he went in there and just try to do with the mindset of just defending. He went in there to try to defend Shavkat. He wasn't in there to try to finish him or do anything crazy. That's why the fight was, I think, it was closer. It was more closer than what it actually should have been. But it's because Ian Garry went defense first approach instead of, he was just too busy trying to defend and just pretty much letting Shavkat control him in the cage pretty much, and then just But Shavkat he needed to do some stuff too. Like, he needed to change his takedowns in the first couple of rounds. He did eventually in the 4th, I think. But once Shavkat put him in the ground, he was just giving a nice little beating on Ian Garry. But the fight wasn't turned out to be how it was supposed to be. This fight was supposed to be a bit more exciting. I think this was a co-main event as well. So, but it is what it is. I mean, Ian Garry just needs to change his approach, man. He has the skills, he has everything. He just needs to mix everything together. Number 5 is Ian Garry and Shavkat. All right, number 4, man. Number 4 is, I'm about to go with Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland, bro. Let's be real here. 2 big names. Paulo Costa, a big name, pretty decent fighter. He has power, he has good abilities. And then we have someone like Sean Strickland, who's, we already know Sean Strickland, his style, who to just go in there and just teep and jab, and just pretty much that's it. Just do that and just, That's why the fight was a bit boring, bro, because Sean Strickland he's one of those fighters that makes every fight boring, bro. And that's why he gets a lot of split decisions in his career, because he just, he fights really. When he fights to barely win, He barely does a minimum to win. But yeah, man, Sean Strickland is he's just boring, bro. He's gonna make every fight boring. And Paulo Costa didn't help, bro. Paulo Costa didn't help by changing his style and try to be like technical and stuff. Nah, man. Paulo Costa had to put it on Sean Strickland. That's what he had to do in there, but he didn't. Most of the time it was just Sean Strickland going backwards, moving back, and just throwing teeps and jabs while moving back the whole fucking fight, man. The only time where Sean Strickland decided to grab his nuts and like grab him and just really go in there was in the last 10 seconds, man. The last 10 seconds is where Sean Strickland decides to go full American and just try to go crazy. But you know what happens? He's too late, little too late. And that's what happens with Sean Strickland, bro. He makes with the way he talks, he makes these fights pretty, like, he hypes up the fights a lot, by saying that they're gonna fight to the death, man. We're gonna fight to the death. But you know what? He doesn't fight to the death, man. He just goes in there and just tries to win bomb points. Period. But yeah, man. Paulo Costa, Sean Strickland, disappointing of a fight. Sean Strickland won, but it was a boring fight, man. That was number 4 right there. Number 3, all right, on my list here. I'm gonna have to give it to Leon Edwards versus Belal. That fight was supposed to be a bit more exciting. Belal Muhammad, he was doing his thing, but just Leon Edwards, man. Leon Edwards, I don't know what the hell was going on with Leon Edwards. I mean, Leon Edwards was there for the taking, bro. Leon Edwards was there for the taking. It's just Belal just didn't push it and just didn't make it more interesting. Unfortunately, he didn't do that. He just, again, he was just doing the minimum, just trying to counter Leon Edwards, but Leon Edwards wasn't really doing that much either in the fight. So yeah, man, it's just disappointing fight. I expect it to be more of a war, more of a more of a back and forth between these two, but it was mostly just Leon Edwards coming in there tired as shit, blaming the time difference, is saying that they were fighting at 2 or 3 in the morning, while Belal was exactly doing the same shit. He was fighting, he was exactly playing, he was fighting at the same time zone. So it makes no sense why Leon Edwards making that excuse when Belal was fighting at the same sort of time zone as him. But yeah, you can say that Belal, he's from the US, and they fought in US prime time, which in the UK it's like fucking 2 or 3 in the morning. So I can understand that Belal had the advantage because he was fighting in US sort of time difference. So he was, but at the same time, Leon Edwards, this fight's in the UK, this fight's in London. So what do you have to do? Or Manchester, I think. I don't know where it was, but what do you have to do? You have to go in there and you have to prepare a week or 2 in advance. You have to prepare to get used to, fighting at that 2 or 3 in the morning, bro. He's a professional fighter. He should have known, dude. This fight was announced months before it was made. So I just don't understand why Leon Edwards comes out with this excuse that, it was time difference and he was just tired and stuff. You can't blame that. Let's be real, dude. He just had a really off night. He just wasn't having it, and it is what it is. And Belal did a really good job. He actually, he actually fought a good fight. He made it difficult for Leon Edwards, but Leon Edwards didn't push it more to just, to Belal. I guess Leon Edwards was just comfortable, just, not getting dominated by Belal. But yeah, that was my number 3 right there. Leon Edwards versus Belal. So yeah. Number 2, right here. We are number 2 in this between, this is the big one, dude. I'm gonna have to go with Mokaev versus Manel Cap. Alright. Mokaev, bro. Let's talk about this fight, bro. These two. Alright. Mokaev is talented. He's a talented fighter, bro. He's really good in wrestling, grappling, sort of like, that type of style, man. Sort of like the, Bilal and Islam. So, he has this type of style. But he just lacks finishes. He just doesn't have that many finishes. He always takes you to decision and just wins decisions. And in the UFC, Dana White, you gotta, if you wanna break into the, into the better pay, better sort of, better career, you have to start finishing people, man. You have to start, KOing, submitting people, And this fight was between Mokaev versus Cap, and the reason why this fight is number 2 is because the build-up, bro. The build-up that these guys did was so insane that it got Mokaev fired literally after the fight. Like after the fight, after Mokaev won, after he beat Manel Cap, I think it was by decision. UFC fired Mokaev. They fired him because he started. The buildup was crazy. He was started attacking Cap like on like sort of like the behind the scenes, days before the fight when they were like in the hotel and they were just when they saw each other they started causing havoc, arguing, and just making a lot of ruckus, making a lot of noise, a lot of ruckus, just making it difficult, for everybody there, because they looked like these guys were gonna kill each other when they fought each other inside the octagon. If the fight would have turned out exactly how they were acting towards each other, this fight would have been probably not in here at all. This fight would have probably been in the best fights of this year. But that animosity, that I guess thing that they had with each other, it just didn't reflect when they were in there. Before the fight, they wanted to fight each other so bad. They wanted to beat each other so bad and everything. But guess what? Go in there. They finally go in there, step into the octagon, settle the score, finally get to put hands on each other, and guess what happens? Boring ass fight. Most of the time they weren't even throwing, they weren't punching, it was a boring ass fight, bro. It was so boring, dude. Like I heard that a lot of people fell asleep through that. So it's just incredible that these two could put up such a big sort of like promotion and promoting the fight, but it didn't translate, man. And yeah, Mokaev was causing a lot of problems, a lot of ruckuses, so they fired him. I guess they released him from his contract or whatever and stuff. But Mokaev has been doing pretty good outside of the UFC. He looks like he's behaving. He looks like he's more mature, and hopefully he gets another crack, bro, because the flyweight needs somebody like Mokaev, because Pantoja is just reigning supreme. He's beating everybody fucking back to back to back. He's beating everybody 3 times, 4 times. He's just overlapping the competition. And someone like Mokaev, who is undefeated, who is a really good fighter, and who has that style that will make it difficult for Pantoja. And it's a good fight, man. Hopefully, they bring that fight. And yeah, Mokaev and Cap, it was just disappointing. Disappointing fight, man. Alright, so here are our number one, man. My number one fight that turned out to be bad. I'm gonna have to give it to Ian Gary versus MVP, man. Let me tell you, Ian Gary versus MVP, bro. This fight was good. It was hyped, you know. It was hyped. Two fighters from the UK. All right, two people from the UK. One from England, one from Ireland. And wow, dude. Look, this fight, when it was announced, a lot of people were hyped. You know, Ian Gary, amazing striker, unique style as well, with the way he blitz in and out, his speed, and he has some really great KOs, man. He is an exciting fighter. So fighting against another fighter in Ian Gary, who is a striker, another really good striker, but for some reason he decides not to use his striking, showing us the skill that he has with his striking, showing us that he can strike with the best, showing us that his striking is superior, and all that, bro. This is why a lot of people were excited for this fight, because a lot of people wanted to see who was the best striker between these two. You know, Ian Gary and MVP, two of the best in their weight class in terms of striking. And you know, it was a high fight, man. MVP, he has a name, obviously, outside of the UFC and in the UFC now, because he's been having some good fights. Ian Gary, man, Ian Machado Gary, bro. What is he doing, man? What is he doing? Ian Gary is in two spots, bro. He's in two spots. Alright, I have him he's in two placements in this ranking right here. Disgrace. Looks like Ian Gary decided to, you know what? Fuck my striking. You know, as soon as he felt MVP's, striking skills, he decided to just switch up. He switched up and then went full fucking Dagestani, bro. He went full, like, smelling nutsack, smelling balls, smelling sacks, smelling smelling everything, bro. He just went in there and just got a hold of MVP and just didn't let him go. He was just in there. I mean, fair play. He was trying to go for some submissions, but they were horrible submission attempts. He's just not that good at submitting people. And man, it was just a boring fight. He made it boring. Ian Gary made it fucking boring. MVP wanted to go in there and strike. You know, make it interesting, make it fun for the fans, make it good, make it a good fight. But guess what? Ian Gary had other plans, and he's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that, mate. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna take you down. That's what he did. He went over and took him down and just pretty much cumped him for 3 rounds, bro. It was a boring fight, man. Boring fight, terrible. Ian Gary, man. Ian Gary needs to step it up, bro, because for me, he has been a disappointment a little bit in this calendar year. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, but yeah, there you go. That was my top 5 fights that turned out to be bad in 2024. All right, so let's go back to let's now list them in order. Number 5 is Ian Gary versus Shavkat. Number 4 was Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland. Number 3 was Leon Edwards versus Bilal. Number 2 was Mokaev versus Cap. And number 1 is Ian Gary versus MVP, man. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you guys for watching. And let me know, guys, what was your worst fights of the year. Comment down below. And, yeah, man, peace out.